AJB Live will begin momentarily. AJB Live will begin momentarily. Breaking news from the Stream Center. Here's JV Buno.
A suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk captured, and that suspect identified in just the last several minutes. NBC News reporting that the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University identified as Tyler Robinson. New details coming in really at every moment here in the Stream Center, folks. Our team is working behind the scenes right now, gathering all this new information that has developed over the last 60 to 90 minutes. But most importantly, we have a press conference coming up here momentarily. Here we have, I'll just mute this for a moment. This is a reporter standing by for a live shot. That's the podium right there behind her where a press conference will be taking place at 9:30 Eastern time, 7:30 local time. So if you're just joining us, folks, the press conference will begin here momentarily. We're going to put it up here on the right side of your screen. And also, as a reminder, too, here in the Stream Center, we're always ready to go with backup feeds as well so that everybody can hear the press conference as well as, if something were to happen, we have a backup feed there for you. Let's just listen into this live shot here for a moment. All right, so we don't have her mic. I think the mic right now is set for the podium, not for her lapel mic, so we don't have her audio. So let's go, folks, to what we know at this moment. President Donald Trump saying with a high degree of certainty that the suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk has been caught. These are the images that made their way out on social media, of course, over the last 24 to 48 hours. And we don't have a definitive news of an arrest yet, to my understanding. We do not have definitive news that this person has been processed, to get a formal mugshot. But we do have an ID. We do have a name, and that name being Tyler Robinson.
Photos are there.
Oh, we do have
the new photos.
Oh, the new photos are right there. Okay, so let's bring in those images. You got it. Yeah, let's bring these in. Right. So these are the images, of course, that have made their way out on social media of late. If you're just joining us here, folks, the press conference is about to begin in the next 10 minutes, 9:30 Eastern, 7:30 local. So as soon as we see somebody step up to the podium, we'll, of course, go full screen to the press conference, listen in, and break down what we have learned. You can also, of course, watch the press conference on the free WFLA app for your TV that you can install on Apple TV, Roku TV, Fire TV, all the platforms. You guys know how to download an app for your TV these days. But yes, you can stream the press conference there. We'll have it here for you as well. So stick around here for us for the next few minutes. We get up a little bit early from the Stream Center so that you can find a live stream that you can count on and that is going to be there for you, so that right when they walk up to the podium, the very first words, the very first thing that they announce, which is usually the apprehension of the suspect, the arrest of the suspect, that you can hear that and that you're in position to do so. And then also, as a reminder too, we do have some backup feeds here as well. Maybe audio. Sometimes audio can be really bad on one feed, or the video is breaking in and out. So we're going to take the most high quality feed from the press conference at Utah Valley University. And so let's break down everything that we have found out recently. And NBC News has really been on it this morning as far as their reporting, and the family, according to NBC News, the family of Tyler Robinson is they're the ones who turned him in. And I'll break down this most recent development. A witness, hold on, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find it right here. Yeah, no, okay, so all we have is that I think that NBC News right now, they're trying to break down these details because these details have just come in. A lot of sources are now speaking. I mean, everything has developed really in the last 90 minutes or so. And there's a little bit of confusion as to who exactly is responsible for tipping authorities off to Tyler Robinson's identity, where he was, how he was able to be brought into custody. Those details are got a lot of reports right now, and I'm going to try to kind of, we're going to try to see through to the truth as to what exactly happened, because right now, when you have so many reports coming in at once, it can be difficult to figure out exactly what really happened, because you have all these claims being fired off left and right. You know, not to mention, too, you have the President of the United States chiming in on Truth Social. So the suspect in custody is Tyler Robinson, 22 years old. So it's interesting. Let's go back to the images. We were talking on stream yesterday and last night, and a majority of people saw these images and thought, there's no way this is somebody who's in their early 20s, that this looked like somebody who was older. But I guess we're going to find out more in a little bit here, because these were the images released of a potential suspect or a person of interest, however you would like to label it, as far as how it was, framed in the release out to the media. This is a person of interest. And now, of course, we have a subsequent arrest. But it is 22-year-old Tyler Robinson from Utah. Let's go here to the podium and just see if there's anything new brewing. And the time now is 9:28, about to be 9:28 Eastern. So we're a couple of minutes away from the press conference beginning.
Audio static. I don't know why.
Oh.
Not dropping frames. Monitoring it.
Okay.
Fact named Tyler Robinson. So far, local law enforcement officials are keeping mum on that right now. My guess is they don't want to stage the FBI when they do announce that they have a suspect in custody. I was able to confirm that a suspect is, in fact, in custody with local law enforcement. So we do know that. Of course, President Trump announced that earlier this morning as well. So as we await this press conference, it's supposed to start in just a few minutes. We're starting to see more law enforcement come out of offices that they have been holed up in the last 30 minutes or so. We saw them coming into campus this morning about an hour ago, a caravan of black sedans, FBI agents, as well as local law enforcement. So as we kind of monitor this activity this morning, again, we're still waiting for that press conference to learn a lot more information about who this person is and perhaps a motive behind why they were at that event on Wednesday, and possibly what exactly happened, what transpired, and how law enforcement came to the conclusion and found their person who they now have in custody.
All right, folks, JB here with you in the Stream Center. How's audio sounding? I know that audio probably wasn't very good. is this audio okay? Can I get a thumbs up or thumbs down emoji? That's kind of the best way to do it in the chat. TikTok Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We're doing an audio check. We're just making sure that everything's good to go for the press conference. I understand that there was a lot of just bad acoustics in that room. And also, too, I think they're wired for the podium and not wired for her. But is everything okay here as far as... Just checking. If you're just joining us, folks, Tyler Robinson, 22 years old of Utah, identified through sources and through multiple media reports as the suspect in the Charlie Kirk assassination, a suspect that has been apprehended. And we're still processing the details of exactly how this occurred really overnight. Let's not forget that it was last night that you had FBI Director Patel and Utah Governor Spencer Cox speaking at the podium. And there wasn't really anything groundbreaking and new other than some video that we played for you last night of the suspect really jumping down or letting himself down from the roof and then, casually kind of finding their way to a campus roadway. And then that's where the video stopped. So something clearly occurred overnight. And I'm going to tell you, as I'm driving in this morning, and I wonder if anybody else felt the same way, because this is how I felt. I can't help but wonder if that $100,000 reward put out by the FBI raised some eyebrows and got someone's attention. Now, but then I'm thinking to myself, okay, these very preliminary reports, which oftentimes can be somewhat unreliable just because it's a rapidly developing situation, and usually when a story is developing as rapidly as it is, those you just don't know exactly what the truth is. You're hearing various different reports coming from all over the place from multiple different angles. But we're hearing that somebody turned him in, and it might have been a family member. And so is a family member going to turn in, a member of their family for $100,000? I can't help but wonder, is that something that, would you do that? If you knew that somebody in your family, are you doing it because it's the right thing to do? Are you doing it because it's best for the situation and because your conscience is telling you to turn in a member of your family if you have a pretty high degree of certainty that your family member is responsible, or I would imagine a 100% degree certainty that your family member is responsible? Or are you doing it because, hey, $100,000 is, my goodness. I guess it just, it depends on the family dynamics. There was also some initial confusion as to whether or not this was a religious figure. And that's where things have gotten really murky as far as who exactly is responsible. And I've seen too many reports that are stating things that are just a little bit different. And what's likely happening right now is that sources within the chain of command with this investigation, within the FBI, within, state authorities with the governor. Hold on a second. Let's do a podium check. All right, nothing yet. But you know what? We're all here for this press conference, so I'm just going to be side by side here with the press conference. All right? So that we can go full screen to this the moment that they start walking up. But yeah, just a ton of confusion and conflicting reports. Mic check.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9.
All right,
10.
guy.
1 2 3 4 5 6. We're hoping to get at least a 3-minute warning when they start walking, but we haven't got that yet. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Everybody good? Everybody good?
Do we like feed 1 better?
4 5 6. Good?
Or do we like feed 2 better? Well, you know what? We'll see exactly the framing and the quality of the audio. Clearly, feed 2 had some loud audio there for a second, and this is a little bit of behind the scenes of what we do in the Stream Center. We're bringing in as many feeds as we can from our various media partners, and then we're ascertaining as to what is the best feed so that we can provide the most high-quality stream to our audience. Again, a 9:30 presser called for an announcement, what is widely expected to be an arrest. And now, has this suspect been processed yet? I mean, where is the suspect right now? Are they being transported back to Orem, Utah? Are they back in Orem, Utah? Did the suspect ever leave really the area? These are all questions that we hope to find out an answer to. I'd also like to remind our stream audience, if you're just joining us here, folks, as we are awaiting the beginning of the press conference, you can use hashtag HeyJB if you'd like to be featured on the live. Oh, let's listen.
So still no official word on the start time. We will try to give at least a 5-minute warning on that, but we'll do our best on that. So.
Interesting. So it sounds like they're getting everything together here. Also, I'm sure determining the order in which everyone's going to speak. You have a lot of people there on campus, and this is a press conference that the entire country. You know what? As a courtesy, I'm just going to mute her audio because she's clearly talking to her control room. This is a reporter for a sister station that we have. But yeah, there's clearly a lot of folks that have descended on Utah Valley University. And exactly who's going to speak, who's going to announce it, who's going to announce the particulars, and also, too, how they're going to address questions. Because you would imagine a press conference this high profile, given that they didn't take questions last night, you would imagine they're going to take questions from the media after they announce this new development. But who's best equipped to answer those questions? That's something, too, that they might be figuring out right now and just kind of getting a game plan, a strategy. Because, yes, the country, in large part, is watching. I know television stations are going to be breaking into programming for special reports. They want to hear it directly from the FBI and directly from Utah authorities. So exactly what the details are, how it's going to be announced, we're going to find out. But yes, in the meantime, this is part of the reason of what we do in the Stream Center is not just providing high quality feeds, but also as well to spotlight your comments. So right now, I'm going to check the comment section. If you use hashtag HeyJB with your comment, I can feature your comment in the comment section and spotlight it on screen. So let's bring all our channels up. So there's Facebook. Here's YouTube, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Okay, so hashtag HeyJB, and then we'll bring up your stream. All right, Z, this is what I'm trying to figure out right now as well. Where exactly the suspect is, and let's be responsible with our labeling because it's a suspected killer. While, look, you guys know how this works. Anyone's watched me in the past, I'm really big about making sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's with labels. This is a person who is accused of a crime in connection, of course, to Charlie Kirk's assassination. We don't even know if this person has been formally arrested yet, formally charged. We don't know where they are in the process of if they're being transported. They could be being booked right now. I'm curious, we were talking about it on stream last night, when they turned around the TV and they had new visuals to show. I can't help but wonder if they're going to show a mugshot. Pamela, with really an important question. Pamela wants to know, hey, JB, do we know if he was a student? Well, he's certainly the age of a student, 22 years old. Oh, no. So people are saying that my audio is crackling. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to fix that. I'll be back in 60 seconds. Let's see if we can fix that. Everybody, stand by.
Again, NBC News reporting that sources telling them it is Tyler Robinson who they have in custody. I have tried here to confirm that with FBI, local law enforcement. I will continue to do that to try to get that name, confirm that name, so that I can pass that along to you as something that we have been able to secure. Again, waiting for this press conference. We are expecting that FBI Director Kash Patel will be here. He did not speak yesterday. We hope that he will deliver some comments and certainly answer questions, because many of us here have a lot of questions about what transpired on Wednesday.
All right, let's see if that's any improvement. Apologies, folks, if my mic is crackling. That's strange. Is that any better? Can I get either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, please? We clearly have. It's just my mic. It's not the press conference. Oh, is the crackling gone? All right, how about it? Oh man. Yeah, no, that's music to my ears, everybody. Okay, loud and clear. All right, so back to it. Use hashtag HeyJB. Okay, so again, we're waiting and we just don't have. I would go to this reporter. This reporter's in the room. I would bring her audio up, but they're clearly wired for the podium on this particular feed, so I can't really tap into her audio at the moment. Ant says, "Hey JB, how did you feel when you found out?" I didn't really react as a journalist. I reacted as an American, and as an American, there's this sense of I think relief, because you don't want this person to elude justice, but then also too, and then immediately you. Then I go into reporter mode, and then I have a million questions. And among the questions, just the number one question is, how did we get to this point? What has changed in the last 12 hours? How was this person apprehended? What was the break in the case? And then, motive. Motive. And this question, and this is why we do interactive live streaming. Brittany on Facebook Live, "Hey JB, did he act alone? Did he have any help? Is this a lone wolf, as they call it?" Also, if he is in custody, is he talking? Is he admitting it? Is he confessing? Yeah, Carrie on Facebook Live says we all go into reporter mode. Yeah, it's a natural thing to then your first gut reaction is, oh, thank goodness they have somebody. It's not something that's going to drag on for weeks, months, or indefinitely. But then immediately, yes, I think we all go into reporter mode, right? We just the constant questions that pop up into our head. And again, I can only put comments on screen if they have our hashtag. That's kind of a thing, so that we don't put your name and your profile picture on screen. Some people don't feel comfortable with that, so. Again, if you're just joining us, JB Buno here with you in the Stream Center. Let's take a wide shot of the Stream Center really quickly. And as a reminder, we are awaiting the press conference in Utah at Utah Valley University, a press conference that we do have multiple feeds for, a press conference that is widely expected to announce the apprehension of a suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, who was assassinated shot from a distance of about 150 or so yards at Utah Valley University at a speaking event earlier this week in front of thousands in a scene of pure chaos. We do have multiple feeds here to show you, and we are able to take multiple feeds here in the Stream Center. So if one is better than the other, that's a really big thing for us here, you guys, is making sure that we provide the most reliable, best looking, and best sounding stream for our audience. Interesting question. Catherine, see, we're all in reporter mode, clearly. We're all asking questions now. He's so young. How did he learn to make that shot? This could be a variety of different things. You know, was he raised in a family, or was he raised in an environment where receiving firearm training was just something that he did over the course of his life? Is there any military training in his background? These are natural questions to ask. And there's been some back and forth, and experts that have been speaking on network TV, and experts that have been out there on X or Reddit and talking about this as to just how much training it would require with that particular firearm to pull off that shot at a range of, I don't know, anywhere from 135 to 165 yards. You know, I've seen some different estimates. And then we talked about it, as gruesome of a subject as it is. You know, somebody with true expert training with that style firearm, or really any style firearm, is likely, if they're going for a kill, they're likely going for the head. In this event, it was a shot to the neck. So there's been a lot of discourse online from really experts, the experts when it comes to military training and the use of firearms, as to just how much training this person had and how much training you would need to do something like this too. Oh, we have somebody coming up. Let's just listen.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Mic 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Check 1 2 1 2 3 4.
All right, so our commenters seem to prefer feed 1. Okay, sounds good. Let's stay on feed 1. What you got, Garrett?
Is this? I'm gonna elbow. Just trying to see if they already started or.
They have not started. That was a mic check.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just want to make sure.
A lot of mic checks.
That's why I haven't joined you.
Yeah, no, I got you. There's been a lot of conversations in our newsroom. I'm sure in newsrooms across the country. I'm sure right here in Utah is to just, you know, everyone's waiting now. So we're 17 minutes past the half hour. Sarah Alexander, hey JB, what do we know about the suspect? That's what every reporter on site in Utah, and basically reporters covering the story in newsrooms across the country, are working the phones trying to find out right now. Not to mention, you would imagine that everyone, I'm not doing it right now live because I have to, my number one job right now is to get you guys this press conference. But if we didn't have a press conference, I think what we would be doing is we would be, you know, focusing more on that, because what's happening right now is this massive canvassing of social media, looking for the social media profiles that belong to Tyler Robinson. Now, what is interesting, and what makes this just a really difficult process, is that Tyler Robinson's not the most uncommon name, right? Tyler, a somewhat common first name. And then you have Robinson, that's got to be a top 20 like last name in the United States, right? Robinson's somewhat common. Do we all agree? So I would imagine there's hundreds, if not thousands, of Tyler Robinsons in this country. If you just looked up Tyler Robinson, it's not as common as John Smith or something like that. But Tyler Robinson, that's going to make a reporter's job really, really difficult. Now, look, you're reporting, you're looking for a Tyler Robinson in Utah who perhaps attended Utah Valley University. You're looking for him based on an age of 22 years old. So you have some things to go by, not to mention you have images that you can cross-reference to try to establish a positive ID on social media. But it's not like it's not JB Buno. I mean, my last name's pretty uncommon compared to Robinson. So it's going to be, yeah. Let's bring up some of the latest here. Trying to find. We're waiting for the press conference here, everybody. All right. Yeah, folks, I see the reports. And I see what everybody's commenting. We're trying to get things. We're doing our due diligence here and getting things confirmed. And you know what's interesting? If I'm seeing this right, NBC News is now walking back the report that a family member turned in the suspect. That is certainly interesting. I know Brian Enton's on scene. What's Brian Enton got? He's probably on air right now, but sometimes you just need to go to a friend, someone who you know, and has a a process about going about their job in a time like these. Yeah, a lot of waiting around for this press conference here, folks. All right, look, in the meantime, yeah, Taylor, I'm wondering the same thing. But now there's confusion as to who turned him in. This is what happens, and this is why I tiptoe around emerging reports and developing situations like this where things are rapidly developing. Because it's more common these days, it feels like, for reputable news organizations to put out a report, then walk back from that report, try to get everything together, make some more phone calls, try to get more sources to verify, and then come back with that report, but more full-fledged, or maybe that initial report was just erroneous. And so a lot is going on right now with a lot of these reports that are coming in, and this is where everything gets muddled because everyone's waiting for the press conference to start. The press conference will set the record straight. Everyone gets in line with the press conference. The press conference is going to obviously be a direct source. Everyone's getting the same information. The world is getting information. And then there's, you would hope, the opportunity for Q&A afterwards where some of all this stuff that's coming out now can be asked directly to the FBI. Oh, let's listen in. There's no audio. You don't have audio. Yeah, turn it on. There you go.
Hello, testing.
We're about
Hi,
to start.
everyone. We are 4 minutes out from starting the press conference. Thank you.
All right, so we got to alert the newsroom. 4-minute warning. 4-minute warning for the press conference that will be beginning here. We'll take it here full. I think people agree that this is the better of the two feeds, so we'll take this feed as soon as we can. I'm going to just do the responsible thing and say just for the next 4 minutes, all the reports, I see tons of hashtag HeyJB comments saying, JB, I'm seeing on this site, they're saying this. Or I'm even seeing people saying, have you seen TMZ this morning? And I understand that there's a lot of reports. Everyone is staking their flag in the ground as far as this is the information that we have. I understand that. But we're 4 minutes away from the FBI setting the record straight for themselves and announcing to the world what exactly the situation is with the suspect. And then we'll kind of, what we will do is in the aftermath of that, we will break down exactly what we have learned. That's the responsible way to do it, okay? Yeah, and Riley, I see your comment here as well, but we also had that. Yeah, the name is Tyler Robinson, 22 years old, Utah resident. Those are the basics at the moment. As a reminder, once the press conference begins, I will disappear off screen. We will go full screen to the press conference. We will listen in. Then we'll break down exactly what we know. And sorry, guys, everybody, give me a second. and we'll find out more here in just a moment. Any last questions or comments? I will be back after the press conference, and we will discuss what we have learned and what questions remain. Because look, I think everybody wants all the information, and with the FBI especially, don't expect every single solitary detail. They're likely going to announce arrest. Maybe they give us a few additional details, but that's why the Q&A is really important. The Q&A allows reporters to follow up and help set the record straight. Also, the Q&A is so important. I really hope they take questions. The Q&A is so important. The Q&A is an opportunity to combat misinformation online, to stop rumors, speculation, and conspiracy theories from running rampant on social media. It's a way to just stop it in its tracks. So I really, really do hope that they're going to take some questions afterwards. It's the responsible thing to do when it comes to, you have Governor Spencer Cox saying last night that we are trying to combat misinformation. Well, you combat misinformation by addressing it. And so I hope as a reporter, I hope that they answer questions from the media after they announce what they are about to announce, which is, in all likelihood, the apprehension of the suspect in the Charlie Kirk assassination, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson of Utah. Yeah, and maybe this is something that's asked about. I mean, there's so many more questions, I think, to ask first, Taylor, than the engravings on the bullets. If this turned into like a 15, 20-minute Q&A, I would imagine you're probably going to get to those engravings at some point. But there's so many more particulars to ask about first. But yes, I know that's also something that people are asking about quite a bit. Taveri, hey JB on YouTube Live. Do we know any duration estimate, like how long this is going to last? We have no idea. No idea. But hopefully with Q&A. Isabel says, can we get the camera showing them looking at the camera rather than the angled one? Real quick, I'm just going to do a quick poll. Do we like angle one? I mean, I'm probably just going to take the one that sounds the best and is most reliable. But do we like this one that looks pretty clear? This is angle one. Or the one that's more straight on after this reporter moves off screen. Do we like angle two? Just throw a 1 or 2 in the comment section, and I'll just kind of make a gut call based on what I'm seeing. What do we got? Man, it's kind of split, you guys. I gotta admit. At least that's what I'm seeing on TikTok. All right. Well, okay. That's the photographer there, the man behind the camera or woman behind the camera who is just resetting their card, making sure they don't run out of recording space when they record on this. I think it's a 50. You guys are making my job pretty difficult, but I think that angle 2 is getting a little bit more. But I'll tell you what, we're going to try angle 2. If I don't like it, we're moving on to angle 1. And that's that. So again, it was a 4-minute warning about 4 minutes ago. They're probably going to come out right at the top of the hour, which is in 30 seconds. Yeah, angle 2, I have the audio down as a courtesy to that reporter because she was talking a lot with the control room. So, but now angle 2 just had his signal break up a bit. Interesting. Catherine wants to know, do we know what have charges been filed yet? Even if charges haven't been formally filed, there can be the announce of intent to file charges and what those charges would be. But without question, you know that in the state of Utah, and of course it was announced last night, Governor Spencer Cox will be pursuing officials in Utah will be pursuing the death penalty. I mean, Cox did not mince words last night. And you would imagine, given the magnitude of this crime, a political assassination, yeah, to no surprise, are they pursuing the maximum penalty allowed under the law? So again, still waiting. As a reminder, it's my job to remind our audience that you can also watch this on TV. You can watch this on your big screen at home or wherever you are. The WFLA app is available on your TV in your app store. You can install it. It's free. Like, really, it's free. So if you're watching on a phone right now, but you want to watch it on your TV, you can do so there as well. And then all the stuff that we do here in the Stream Center, you also get on your TV as well. Yeah, this is a great question, Johnny. Who's going to be speaking? You would imagine that FBI Director Patel would be speaking. You would imagine that Governor Cox will be speaking. The head of the Utah Department of Public Safety might be there. I can't help but wonder if university officials are going to be speaking, if the head of Utah Valley University might be speaking just about how this has transformed their campus and how their campus will probably never be the same after an event like this. With a school not as well known nationally like Utah Valley University, if 10 years from now, if somebody mentions that school, I mean, you would imagine that the average person is going to say, is that where that assassination occurred? I mean, the people there deserve better. It's an educational institution. It should be about learning. But unfortunately, this is something that's going to live on for many, many years as being the site of something that, the site of such evil. Another great question here, Brittany. Has his home been raided yet? If so, was anything found as to a motive? You can find out a whole lot by where the person sleeps. I mean, as far as planning this out, you have to do it somewhere, and what you're going to find and what evidence you're going to gather is going to be crucial to the investigation. So I would imagine that by now, wherever Tyler Robinson put his head down to sleep at night, that area has been raided with a full team representing multiple agencies. All right, it looks like they're coming out. I'm seeing, let's go to this shot. We're going to go to angle 2. If I don't like the audio here, we're going to go back to 1. But here they come. Let's bring up the audio.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At today's press conference, we will hear from Governor Cox, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Sheriff Mike Smith. We also have with us Utah DPS Commissioner Bo Mason, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, FBI Special Agent in Charge Robert Bowles, and local and federal law enforcement partners. Following the remarks today, Governor Cox, Director Patel, and Commissioner Mason will take questions. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there has been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this?" ? Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch! ! Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow," and a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who has worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement as well. I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case, they will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah. But I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history. With that, I will now turn the microphone over.
Thank you, Governor. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House, who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play, and we will play that role, and we will lead out for the federal government. But Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilized these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on the scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m., where at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the ability to walk through that crime scene and walk through the steps the suspect took to learn more about what was needed and what resources we needed to bear to create a full picture for the FBI and leadership back in Washington. Furthermore, thankfully to state and local partners, forensic evidence has been seized and continues to be garnered. Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we will continue to deliver to Governor Cox and his team. Last night, we had a total of approximately 7,000 leads. As of this morning, thanks to your great work, we have over 11,000 leads that were called in to the FBI. And we are running out every single lead that we can. Every one of those leads will be run out. The arrest is a testament to the dedication of good law enforcement being great and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI. There is no better relationship, for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake Field Office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently, critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions, and we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes, for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Thank you, and good morning. I would just like to take a few minutes as the sheriff to express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, a complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking at people standing up here who are running on, if they got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days, they're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive, speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement, to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed. Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation. I would like to thank the federal government for their resources, their assets. Our local team here, our FBI team, has been extraordinary in helping us work through this and bring this person to justice. Most of all, I would like to thank the public, and specifically, I would like to thank the public who turned to prayers and who turned to positiveness for us. I would like to thank them on behalf of the law enforcement community, because we needed those prayers. That's what we needed to get through this. We needed your support, and you gave it to us. We needed your patience, and you gave it to us. And I would like to thank you for the Kirk family, because that's what they need, is your support and your prayers, and that will get us through all of this. So thank you, everybody, for everybody that have stepped up. We've had such a phenomenal response to this. Thank you.
I also want to give a special thanks to the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. Their unwavering support and their commitment to justice is shown true here. And without AG Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and the resources they brought to bear, we would not have been able to complete our mission. And I just want to say special thanks. It's an honor to be a part of the Department of Justice.
Thank you again to our incredible law enforcement team who has worked so hard. Sheriff, I got a solid 90 minutes last night, so I'm probably the most well-rested person up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I get the microphone, so I hope you'll permit me a moment just to share a few more thoughts about where we are and how we got here, and maybe a little bit of where we go from here. I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country, and violence is tragic everywhere. and every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. But it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence. Of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And it was, as anger pushed me to the brink, it was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those. And specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. And he's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get violence. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit. He said, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to commit violence. He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable agreement, where violence is not an option. Now, again, to my young friends out there, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. And there is one person responsible for what happened here. And that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable. And yet, all of us have an opportunity right now to do something different. I want to thank my fellow Utahns. This bad stuff happens. For 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us, that somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I had hoped for, just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here. And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year. But it did happen here. And it was one of us. But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last 2 nights. There was no rioting. There was no looting. There were no cars set on fire. There was no violence. There were vigils and prayers and people coming together to share the humanity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes. Because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse. But see, these are choices that we can make. History will dictate if this is a turning point for our country. But every single one of us gets to choose right now if this is a turning point for us. We get to make decisions. We have our agency. And I desperately call on every American, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, MAGA, all of us to please, please, please follow what Charlie taught me. I'll just conclude with words I share often from a friend and author, Yuval Levin, who was asked if he was optimistic about our country. And he said, I'm not optimistic. He said, I hate optimism. Like, that sounds bad. But he said, optimism is a vice. It's this idea that good things are just going to happen. And he said, in the history of the world, good things have never just happened. He says, I'm not optimistic, but I am hopeful. And hope is the virtue that sits between the vices of optimism and pessimism. Hope is the idea that good things are going to happen because we can make them so. I still believe in our country. And I know Charlie Kirk believed in our country. I still believe that there is more good among us than evil. And I still believe that we can change the course of history. I'm hopeful because Americans can make it so. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Governor, can you please speak to whether the suspect is speaking with authorities and his demeanor, Tyler Robinson, when he turned himself in?
I cannot speak to that. Well, I will leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "catch fascist," there's not, and by the way, that's like catch like a ball, catch this. I think that speaks for itself. Governor, you indicated that he had been communicating. Please.
Beyond that, is there anything in your view that you discovered?
Might be able to hear the reporter question better on this one.
There's nothing more that we can share at this time.
Governor, you indicated that he had been communicating with a friend on Discord about the gun. Do you anticipate any more arrests?
We do not at this time have any information that would lead to any additional arrests.
Do you believe he acted alone?
Yes, but the investigation is ongoing.
Can you talk more about the family, what they had to say about the suspect?
How he came into custody of police and where he is right now, Mr. Robinson?
Yes. So right now, Mr. Robinson has been booked into the Utah County Jail. You heard the president this morning report that that he was taken into custody. That his family and a friend helped to deliver him into custody of law enforcement in Washington County. For those of you that don't know where Washington County is, it is the southwesternmost part of the state of Utah. It's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive from here, where we are right now, and that's where he lived and where they turned him in.
Can you talk more about what the family is saying about Tyler Robinson?
I can't share any more than what I've already shared. Yeah. So how we obtained the gun? The gun was found here. So I don't have much more details on that. We do know that he drove. We had his car here on campus, and then we had his car going south back to the St. George. It's actually the city of Washington in Washington County.
Is he talking with authorities, and did he discuss a motive?
I'm sorry? We don't have any information that would lead us to believe that. Yes, in fact, it was just released. Yes. I can't answer that right now. Yeah, thank you. Over here. I absolutely believe that this is a watershed in American history. Yes. The question is, what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter, of a darker chapter in our history?
To our stream audience, got to let you know, and our broadcast audience, the conversation continues on the WFLA app. You can install it on your television. Our conversation will continue there, as well as our coverage of this press conference from Utah Valley University. Let's get back to here live.
So gruesomely displayed on camera in all of our hands and in all of our pockets. We are not wired as human beings biologically, historically. We have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery.
To our stream audience, to our broadcast audience, the conversation will continue. Our coverage of the Charlie Kirk assassination continues on the free WFLA app, which you can install for your televisions at home. Let's get back to the press conference from Utah Valley University.
People to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. That is happening, and it's happening organically right now. I had a friend in a small city in Utah who said, we're getting together. The Republicans and Democrats in my little town are getting together to have a discussion tonight. Last night, just to find a way to find their better angels. So yes, this could be. I mean, you know, again, you have to go back to JFK to have seen a video live of something like this happening. I wasn't born until 1975, but I know that things were really dark in the late 60s. Sorry to some of you. I know some of you were there, but this is our moment. Do we escalate, or do we find an off-ramp? And again, it's a choice. It's a choice, and every one of us gets to make that choice. Two more questions right here.
Could we clarify that the release of those enhanced images at 8 p.m., the timeline that Director Patel gave us, led to the arrest at 10 p.m.? Is there a direct connection?
I cannot comment if there is a direct connection or not, but all I can say is that through some process, the family came to know that this had happened.
One more thing, Governor. Could you just clarify the clothing issue you mentioned earlier? Was he changing outfits?
Correct. Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU. Last question here. Yes. Yeah. I don't have any information on the mental illness part. He was not a student here at UVU. He was living and had lived for a long time with his family in Washington County, in the southernmost part of our state. Thank you, everyone, for your great work in getting this information out. I would just say, process-wise, this may be important. I know many of you aren't familiar with the process in Utah. I think it's important that you understand that. Basically, we have 3 days for charging documents to be filed. A CI will be filed. We'll have more information then, more detailed information as those charging documents are filed in preparation for a preliminary hearing. So 3 days. So we would anticipate then that early next week those charging documents will be filed. We will obviously be working. The county attorney will be working very closely with Mr. Kirk's family as those documents and decisions are prepared and made. Thanks, everyone.
Breaking news from the Stream Center. Here's JV Buno.
Suspect in custody, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. According to the Utah's governor, saying that the assassination suspect indicating to a family friend that he was connected to the shooting, and then the details just continued to come out from there. And my goodness, were there a lot more details than I think many of us expected from an FBI press conference. Welcome into the Stream Center, folks. We have approximately 10 minutes here to break things down before the 11 o'clock news here starts on WFLA, which we will be streaming on all platforms from the Stream Center, including on our television app that I mentioned to you earlier. And apologies, I have to do the job here, folks, as far as relaying some important messages to our audience. Okay, so here's the deal. Utah Governor Spencer Cox opens the press conference with, "We got him." A family member says that a family friend, exactly how this all unfolded is still a little bit unclear, but that it was a family friend who indicated that he was connected to the shooting and that that Tyler Robinson allegedly admitted that he was connected to the shooting. The car is a gray Dodge Challenger. He arrived on campus at 8:29 a.m. wearing a plain maroon shirt. And then that later on, he was found in clothing consistent with that of the description released by the FBI. We talked about this on stream yesterday and the odds that he would be in similar clothing, given what has transpired, given all the time that has passed by. He was wearing the same clothing that matched the FBI's description. Look, lot more to discuss here, a lot more to break down. Kind of in shock that he was wearing the same clothing and when he's trying to elude capture. Okay, so at a dinner, Charlie Kirk was mentioned, and that Tyler Robinson allegedly said that he didn't like Charlie Kirk, that Charlie Kirk was a man of spreading hate, I think was the quote that was provided by the FBI. And then here's where things get interesting. On Discord, snapshots of a conversation taking place on Discord about retrieving a rifle from a bush wrapped in a towel. So now Discord is a mode of communication that's being brought into this massive story. And that it was a unique scope and rifle, and then we did get the details. I was surprised. We got details specifically about, excuse me, everybody, details about the engravings. Okay, can we go over the engravings for a second? My goodness, the details on the engravings. One of the casings reading, "Hey fascist, catch," with an up arrow symbol, right arrow symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. Is that a... Okay, so we'll figure out the arrows in a bit. Another one read, "Oh, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow, Chow." And then another one reading, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." Another one reading, notices bulges, OWO, what's this? We're working on acquiring the mugshot. Mugshot should be out any moment, if it's not out already. I'm going to let our team know as soon as we have the mugshot. I never thought I'd ever say something as like that on a live stream before. I'm not going to read it again. But, all right, so we have a mugshot. All right, everyone's saying we've got a mugshot. Let's get it. I think everybody deserves to see, and we'll kind of analyze what we have here from the mugshot. Everyone in the newsroom, we just received it, so we are getting it into our system now. Newsroom, I don't have 2 minutes. I don't have 2 minutes for a mugshot. Come on, guys, we can be faster than that. I'm trying to get it directly into my system. Okay. Here it is. I've got it. We're going to save here so I can bring it up on screen for everybody. There's 2 of them. A profile shot here as well. All right. Stand by. 30 seconds. Not even. Let's see if I can beat 30 seconds. Sometimes you just got to do it. Okay. Here, 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, and boom. Got it. Okay, mugshot. Here it is. There you have it. Let's Wow. Yeah, my mic is really getting bad though. That's terrible. That's really frustrating. We'll have to fix my mic issues in here, folks. I don't know what is going on. Hopefully that's a little better. All right. In fact, let me hear it here. That's a little better. All right. In fact, let me hear it here. All right. Here's the mugshot. Let's go full screen. Here's the mugshot. Let's go full screen. "22-year-old Tyler Robinson of Utah. And I don't think it's a stretch to say that significant missteps led to his capture, ultimately. We're talking about talking on Discord about leaving the rifle. We're talking about admitting it, allegedly, to a family friend. You have to wonder if his plan was to escape. Was his plan to ultimately be captured? But I think, oftentimes we really don't get a motive, right? The motive in this is quite clear if the FBI and their investigators and what they have uncovered is factual, which is that this individual became more politicized in recent years and really didn't like Charlie Kirk. In fact, perhaps had a deep hatred for him. You would imagine that you would have to have a deep hatred for someone to carry out a methodical plan to murder them. So if the FBI's claims are true based on all the investigative work that they did, we have a motive in this case. We have a motive, and it's just hatred. The motive is hate. The difference is that there are people in this country. You can have hate for another human being. You can disagree with them. You can despise them. You can think that they're the worst human being of the 7-8 billion people on the planet, but that you still don't murder that person. So here we have Tyler Robinson, who is accused of carrying out a well thought out plan to shoot and kill Charlie Kirk during his visit to Utah Valley University. Folks, that's going to end the live stream. I would really like to continue live streaming, but we have the 11 o'clock news that we're going to be streaming on the WFLA app on television coming up here soon in about 14 minutes time. So here's how this is going to work going forward. Facebook and TikTok only. Facebook and TikTok only. We are going to be ending the live stream and launching a new one at 11 a.m. We're also going to begin the 11 a.m. news on the WFLA TV app as well. YouTube, we're going to stick around and just, we're not going to end the stream on YouTube. We're going to continue the stream on YouTube just up until really the 11 o'clock news, when we can stream the 11 o'clock news for our audience. So be on the lookout for the 11 o'clock news. Who are our anchors? Oh, no, I'm in here alone. Everyone left. Okay. So we have our team with the 11 o'clock news that will be providing the very latest with the Charlie Kirk assassination and the arrest of Tyler Robinson. And that's coming your way at 11 a.m. And if you're looking for more Stream Center coverage, you can, whatever platform you're on right now, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, you guys know how to follow, subscribe. You guys know how all that works. I'm not going to explain it to you. Just follow the WFLA channel for more, obviously, Stream Center coverage of all the stories that we do here and the interactive work that we're doing here. So for everybody here in the Stream Center, which is actually just me, I'm saying, and now Garrett walking in, producer Garrett Phillips. I'm JB Buno. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you in about 13 minutes on the 11 o'clock news coming up here from the Stream Center.
Working on the ground here, not only in the field office in Salt Lake City, but also out of Washington, D.C. But all of these people collectively working together to try to find the suspect in this case. And again, as you mentioned, a lot of leads, 7,000 yesterday as of 8 p.m., 11,000 as of this morning. Those leads continue to come in, and they are encouraging that they do as well, because anything can help them now in the prosecution phase of this case. They're going to hand over what they have, of course, to prosecutors, and then they will be the ones that will go to trial for this. Right, and the governor said that they believe that he drove here to the UVU campus and then drove back to Washington City, and that is where they apprehended him. So again, the thing that I thought was so striking was the fact that family members were the ones who were to report this crime to not only a fellow friend who then turned it into law enforcement, but I can only imagine how very difficult that was for those family members to make that kind of decision. But as the governor talked a little bit about why those family members made that decision, it was a family dinner apparently where the suspect was talking about Charlie Kirk. And so we get a little bit of background about how all of this came about. But again, a family friend, it started with family members who then told a family friend who then contacted law enforcement.
from the Stream Center. Breaking news on WFLA News now at 11.
We do begin with the arrest of the suspect in the shooting of Charlie Kirk. A man named Tyler Robinson is now in jail, charged in that shooting. These are pictures and video from the FBI showing the gunman jumping off a building at Utah Valley University. You'll see that coming up right after Charlie Kirk was shot Wednesday afternoon. Utah's governor says the 22-year-old suspect is behind bars right now. And good morning. I'm Stacey Scheibel.
And I'm Chris Martinez. According to the governor of Utah, Tyler Robinson indicated to a close friend that he did in fact shoot Charlie Kirk, and that person turned him in. The governor making that announcement just minutes ago. Here's what he had to say.
We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits.
You have been listening there to that press conference that took place just about an hour ago, where they announced the arrest of 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, who you're seeing here. That video has been everywhere. He was actually arrested last night, Chris, around 10 p.m., and then the president announced it this morning while he was on Fox News.
Yeah, and reportedly Robinson's father and pastor were two of the people that helped to turn him in. We're also hearing reports that Robinson was a student at Utah State University on a scholarship at that school. We're learning more information now about his family. He is from Utah. Certainly more details will be released throughout the day as people now find out more about the suspect.
Yes, and we have more than 2,000 comments online on this story and on the arrest, which took 33 hours, as the FBI director pointed out. They, of course, did a lot of, backpatting and talking about how law enforcement locally, nationally, and federally all work together to make this arrest happen within 33 hours. More than 11,000 tips poured into the FBI, Chris. And I think it's pretty amazing to see that many people trying to find the person responsible for this. And there is, I think, a collective sigh of relief happening today at word of the arrest.
Yeah, and Utah's governor speaking extensively, too, at the end of that press conference about the lessons that he believes the country should be taking from this shooting in terms of violence not being the answer to any sort of conflicts, certainly not to a disagreement over political views, and certainly that is going to be a topic of conversation going forward quite a bit after this death.
People are wanting to learn more about 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. I think in the next hours and days we will learn more, possibly the motive. We know that there were engravings on the casings, the bullet casings, as well, the one that was fired and the other 3 that were not fired. You'll be hearing more about that coming up later on today. We are continuing to follow this, of course, with so many comments and so many people interested in what motivated this suspect to do what he did to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, certainly more information will be coming out throughout the day. And we, of course, will keep you updated both on air and online as we learn more information about this suspect and also potential motive here in this murder.
We're going to move on now to your local headlines, your must-see now stories. Police are still searching for a suspect in the shooting that killed a 17-year-old and injured 5 others at an apartment complex on Woodville Street in Tampa. Officers are telling us they believe the victims knew the shooter and that the attack stemmed from a prior argument. Many of the victims in the case are minors. We know that a 17-year-old was killed, 5 others injured. Tampa police officers are hoping that the community will help them track down the shooter in this case. They're asking for witnesses to the crime to come forward.
Well, meantime, students at a number of historically black colleges and universities all across the country, they're in remote classes today after a series of violent threats prompted lockdowns at some of these schools. These are 4 of the schools we're talking about right here, including Bethune-Cookman College on our state's East Coast. That school in Daytona Beach received one of the threats. Florida A&M in Tallahassee did not actually receive one of these threats that we're talking about, but they do say they're going to be taking some extra precautions today to make sure their students are in fact safe.
And we have some dramatic video to show you. Plantation police, wait till you see this. They are searching for a group of gunmen who sprayed bullets at this rental home last month. They just released the video today, which is why we're showing it to you now. 4 people got out of the car in front of that house, and police say the car was reported stolen from Miami Gardens. No injuries reported in this case, but why they opened fire, I guess people inside that house at the time are not cooperating with the investigation. The suspects have been involved in a separate shooting about 45 minutes later in Miami-Dade County. But that alarming video we wanted to share with you this morning.
Scary to see. You can see all the bullets in the house there. I mean, I'm not sure how many got fired off there, but you can see it's just a lot. And those are the ones you can see actually hitting the house. All right, turning now to bear hunting season. Permits for bear hunting season opened this morning. They're open, actually right now, opened about an hour ago. You have to be at least 18 years old by October 1st if you want one of these permits. These are going to be distributed by random drawings. There is a $100 charge if you are a resident of Florida. If you're not a resident of Florida, you're going to have to pay $300. The season runs December 6th through the 28th. You can apply for this at outdoorsflorida.com.
Outdoorsflorida.com if you're interested in the bear hunt. And some good news for our USF Bulls. They are ranked 18th in the nation, Chris. Can we say that enough? I mean, these guys have beat 2 ranked teams. Now they're taking on the 5th ranked Miami Hurricanes down in Miami. The matchup this weekend expected to draw a huge crowd, waiting to see if USF can keep up the winning streak. You can see the action tomorrow on our sister station, the CW Tampa Bay. Coverage begins at 4, kickoff at 4:30. If you sense excitement in my voice, it is exciting. I mean, the USF Bulls, Keith Kate and I were talking last night about how Miami probably saw this on the schedule way back when and thought, piece of cake.
This is nothing.
Nothing. We'll just walk all over those Bulls, but now they're ranked.
So exciting. I was watching the day after they beat UF, because on social media there was like every angle captured of that game-winning field goal kick.
That was amazing.
It was so fun to watch from every angle and to see not only the USF students just going crazy, But the UF students just looking
like bewildered.
Like what just happened?
Shocked.
I love seeing them win like this. I think it's really exciting for
I
them.
do too. We have to root for the hometown team for
Yeah.
sure. Let's bring in meteorologist Eric Stone because apparently there's going to be
Yeah.
weather down in Miami. That could bring a whole new facet to the game that it could really play a part as well. How bad is the weather we're talking?
I don't think it's going to be that bad. So I'm pulling up our graph forecast model for the Miami area. So the game starts at 4:30 tomorrow. There are a few showers in the area, especially north of Miami, but and of course the university being slightly to the south. Once we get to about halftime or so, maybe some lingering showers, but I think a better chance of rain as we get toward the end of the game, 7, 8 o'clock. And so I don't think it's going to be a washout by any means, but we could see some isolated showers here and there. So I don't think it's going to be a washout. So if you are planning on going, get down there and enjoy it. Root for USF, of course. Nothing going. Max Defender 8 radar. We're staying nice and dry. A few showers, extreme inland Polk County, but for the most part today, we're going to see very low rain chances throughout the weekend. In fact, it's looking really good. Visible satellite, though, still seeing the clouds sticking around. That'll be the case today, but I do think we'll see more sunshine come Saturday. So notice these temperatures only in the upper 70s to low 80s. Feels like temperatures in the mid to upper 80s for the most part. Not much in the way of wind out of the northeast, around 5 to 10. So the next few hours, mainly dry conditions to a few showers developing later this afternoon, but most of it being south of I-4. But I promise a sunnier and drier weekend ahead.
All right, well, that's great news for us and good news for the USF Bulls. Hopefully they won't have to contend with too much and it works in their favor. Coming up, Chris, family-friendly Halloween entertainment this weekend.
That's right, taking to Busch Gardens where you can check out a really fun Halloween event and enjoy that nice weather this weekend at the same time.
You're watching WFLA News now at 11 from the Stream Center.
And welcome back in on this Friday morning. If you're looking for something to do with the kids that's not so scary this Halloween, Busch Gardens is hosting a fall event with Candy. Candy is their resident witch in training. There she is. Candy's Sweet-tacular Celebration is a family-friendly event. You can dress up, have some Halloween fun without some of that spookiness. They'll have story time for the kiddies and trick-or-treating and a costume parade as well. There will also be some autumn-themed photo spots at the park as well. And this is underway now. It's open now, so it's going to be there this weekend. Stacey, sounding like this weekend potentially could be a great time to get out for an event like this.
Yeah, let's check the weather.
Max Defender 8, the most accurate weather radar in Florida. Sponsored by ArmorView Window and Door.
All right, weather's going to be very nice this weekend. Lots of sunshine. Not now. 79 degrees, feels like 82. Not much on Max Defender 8 radar. Again, you can see it's pretty dry, and it will stay fairly dry, at least the rest of the morning and early afternoon, before we do see some showers later on today, especially inland areas, early to mid-afternoon, the heaviest of the rain. Some of that could get into eastern Hillsborough County. I don't think we'll see much here in Tampa. And then by the evening hours, everything pretty much all said and done. But hey, tomorrow we start out with more sunshine. That's great news. Much different than the last several days, in fact. And then tomorrow afternoon, look at that. Showers and a couple of storms are possible, but not much. Low pressure tracks off to our east, and that means circulation could provide a few showers on a northeast flow Saturday, Sunday. But again, 20% chance of rain wouldn't cancel any outdoor plans. Much cooler as we head to Sunday morning. It should be nice. Low 70s, some of us in the upper 60s. Nice humidity start next week, and dry conditions as low and the front move out of here. So rain chances will be the highest in southern areas today and tomorrow. A couple of spotty showers the rest of the weekend, but really not much going on. In the tropics, now up to a 40% chance of development. A wave coming off the African coast, but slow to develop. And notice the trajectory to the northwest. So I don't think this is going to affect us at all. Great news there. Upper 70s to low 80s, depending on where you live, thanks to the cloud cover. We should top out close to 90 today, this evening in the mid 80s, much like yesterday, and we will have some sunshine. Dew points running in the 70s right now, but notice what happens tomorrow. In fact, it feels like temperatures not even 100 degrees, but we will see those dew points drop. Mid 60s, that'll feel good. Saturday and Sunday, 64 degrees. We love that. Okay, today upper 80s to around 90 degrees, only about a 30% chance. Best chance of rain in southern and eastern areas. Much drier day as we head into a Saturday. Boating forecast, not too bad. Northeast wind around 10 knots or so northerly this afternoon, and that will be the case heading into the weekend. So again, a couple of stray afternoon showers Saturday and Sunday. Mainly dry to start next week. High temperatures, upper 80s to low 90s. Finally, we get the sun back, and low temperatures, not bad. Low 70s this weekend.
Low 70s.
Can you believe
points?
it?
I mean,
yeah. It's hard to believe, huh?
I love this. But here's the thing, though. We're getting this little bit of a taste of Florida fall. Is it going to get yanked away from us? Of course. Okay.
Come on. You can have it forever.
You know what? I feel like it's usually the second week of October before we get any sort of taste for fall. So I'm all for
take
this.
this early.
Season ends, yeah.
I'm excited for it.
When we come back, an outrageous story. Better Call Banking is all over it. It's a roofing company. Not only are they getting paid from the insurance company, but then homeowners are getting hit with a big bill in addition to that, and sometimes a lien and even foreclosure lawsuits. Keep it here. We'll explain. What? Yeah. Boy, this story is outrageous. Our Better Call Bank investigation into dozens of liens and foreclosure lawsuits filed by a Florida roofer. Boy, has it struck a nerve. Homeowners terrified of losing their homes. Company promised to work directly with their insurance companies, but then they get a bill on top of it. So in one case, this guy's insurance company paid $24,000 for the roof, but then that guy got a bill for over $26,000 in what they call supplemental charges. Right after that, a lien and then a foreclosure lawsuit.
Wow. Shannon Bacon, consumer investigator, with us right now with a follow-up on this. Shannon, I know people have been outraged by the story.
Chris, Stacey, I'm hearing from so many people. We did a story about one lady fighting this problem, and my inbox has been flooded. Phone calls coming in from people. They're desperate for answers. There's a lot of people who have this just hanging over their head, like the guy you see there. He has this bill for $26,000, even though Citizens Insurance, his insurance company, paid $24,000 for the roof on the house you see there. He said he felt like that was fair, the $24,000. Citizens said that they felt like that was a fair price, but he stuck with this $26,000 bill that at first was a lien, and he tells me that they kept telling him, don't worry, insurance is going to pay for it, you won't have to pay for it. Now it's turned into a foreclosure lawsuit in Pinellas County Court, and it's just at a standstill. And he says when he goes to bed at night, he's worried he's going to lose his house.
Shannon, refresh our memory. So when they say supplemental charges of $26,000, what are they claiming was $26,000 more?
Well, in the original contracts that these folks signed, every contract that I've looked at says that you could be on the hook for supplemental charges. But in this gentleman's case, it mentions an example of those supplemental charges, and it specifically says rotten wood. So he thought, a couple $100, maybe $1,000 more if you tear off my roof and you find out something is really wrong and the insurance company won't pay for it. He never imagined it would be $26,000. So he said he requested a list of those supplemental charges, and I took a look at that list, and it's things like a dumpster. It's things like a porta potty. It's things like shingles. All the things that you would need to put on a roof are listed as supplemental charges. So his question is, if those are the supplemental charges that I have to pay for, then what did Citizens pay for? What was the $24,000 for? And he says that when he asked that question, he doesn't get any answers. And it is worth noting that I have been trying to reach FRS. I've been trying to reach their attorney, Daniel Copeland, in the Jacksonville area, and I have not heard anything back from them.
Florida Roofing Specialists, Inc. That's the name of the company in question, correct?
That is the name of the company in question, and it's also worth noting that the AG says that they have over 131 complaints, and that was as of last week. So it may be more because a lot of folks have been reaching out to me who have not filed complaints, and I've told them to make sure that they get it on record with the AG. They are investigating. They say they have an active consumer investigation, and that investigation's been going on since September of last year.
Yeah, I know a lot of these folks are seniors as well, right? And for the folks that have not taken any action but might be in the same position here, what are they supposed to do at this point? Are they supposed to be filing complaints?
Well, people have been reaching out to find out what do you do if you receive one of these lawsuits, and what do you do if you need to hire a roofer to make sure this doesn't happen to you. So we have been all over this story. We had a story yesterday with the gentleman you see there, and we have a story coming up tonight at 5 o'clock where I'm speaking with an attorney who's a defense attorney, and she is defending one of these cases out of Polk County, and she's going to talk about the red flags that she sees in the contracts that these folks sign so that you can make sure you don't sign a contract like this, you know what you're getting into, and then what to do if this happens to you. And she says you don't have to settle. Most of these people do settle, court records show. She says you can fight it. She's fighting it for a Polk County consumer.
Boy, and I know you're staying on this. It continues to explode. And this is a roofing company that is statewide. So I know so many people out there appreciate you, as we do, Shannon. Thanks for staying on this. And thank all of you for joining us. For Chris Martinez and Shannon Bacon, I'm Stacey Scheibel. I'll see you back here at 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock tonight. Have a great day.